welcome back to the Coaches Show. I'm Valerie Musburger, the SID for Women's Gymnastics, here again with head coach Bill Ryden.
Hi, everyone.
So today we're going to talk about the latest home meet where Arizona took on Nebraska, and then we're going to look ahead to the Oregon State meet this coming Friday.
Yes.
So we'll just go ahead and jump right in. Even though both teams' scores were characteristically lower, I think that this meet showed a lot of good gymnastics. What do you think, Bill?
I agree. I think it showed that the teams were pretty evenly matched. Neither team counted a fall. All you can really do, you can't really look at the scores themselves, but sort of just if you just the broad spectrum of what's going on, I think it was great for our fans that came out and saw the meet. It was a high caliber, two top teams, and it was good.
So one thing that Bill said, if you read the recap, was that the scores don't show the story of this meet. So today we are going to tell the story
Okay.
of this meet so everybody can hear about it.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and start on vault.
Well, once again, we still didn't have Jordan, and we didn't have Allie. And so we went into the meet not really even knowing who the competitive lineup would be. The day before the meet, I told both Danielle and Jessie, who had just recently returned to vaulting due to injuries keeping them back out, and had been vaulting at floor level in the practice gym, and we were like, well, go out there and warm up. Let's see what happens. And literally I picked the lineup based on the warm-up right before the meet. And turned out to be pretty good. I mean, we're starting to get sort of a picture of vault, but our vault lineup seems to be changing every week, so it's hard to stay with that picture. But, we had some people really step up, and I was very pleased with how we vaulted.
Well, I think so, especially considering how topsy-turvy vault has seemed to be this season, with two of the regular lineup people out. I think everybody did pretty well. So starting off with Shauna, she's been very, very consistent as a starter across the board. She's been about at a 9.725, 9.75 throughout the season, so that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, and that's her strength. In our book, in our team, Shauna, you rely on her, you depend on her, you bet on her. And, she delivers. And, that's a very comforting thing as a coach. So having someone like that will do a decent job starting off, because that really can affect, as you know, how the scoring goes at that point. She does a fantastic job for us.
And then moving to Babs, who got a 9.7 this week.
And it wasn't her best vault. She wasn't really happy with herself. She really struggled in warm-ups, to be honest. I'm not telling things out of turn that she doesn't already know, but she had been vaulting a little bit stronger and actually did some drill work in warm-ups to try to fix things, and she pulled it around and did a pretty decent vault for a 9.7. I know she wasn't all that happy with it, but sometimes those things happen. You just deal with them.
And then we have two back-to-back 9.825s, which is a lot better now that it was Amber and Kristen figured out her landing this week.
Yes. Amber did a great full and has really turned the corner on all events. And Kristen, you're right, continues. I mean, she really works hard on landing this vault. And as we've said many times, it's still her first competitive season with this vault. She's still trying to figure it out. But she did a great job. So, and considering 9.9 was the highest vault in the meet, and in reality, even a 9.8 was very hard to come by in this meet. I thought that her getting a 9.825, considering where the scores were for this meet, meant that she was one of the best vaults in the meet, so you got to be happy with that.
Well, yeah, and also keep in mind, too, a 9.825 was second place. So first place was 9.9, 9.825 was second.
I didn't even realize that, so yeah.
So it really does back up what you're saying. We've got data evidence.
No, you're right. And so what more can you do, right? So.
And then we have to talk about Danielle, because this is really exciting. someone who we've previously talked about as being someone scared, not scared, but tentative to do other events because she doesn't want to get hurt for the bar lineup, came out and did this spectacular vault for her first vault in her career for a 9.8, which was the third highest score in the meet, and tied Aubrey, who followed her.
Yeah, no, Danielle did a great job. I mean, she had a fantastic fall vaulting and actually posted some incredibly huge scores to the point where I was scratching my head in our inner squads. Mm-hmm. The judges brought in just loved her vaulting. And then, of course, injuries, our bar situation, whatever, her injury, our other injuries, you know, she's been sort of holding back to make sure that nothing happened. But, you know, I let her loose sort of a couple weeks ago, which really made her happy, actually, because she was getting bored to tears only just working bars every day. And when she's on, you know, it's just really become a great vault, and she really rocked a good one right at the right time.
Oh, yeah,
it was nice.
Definitely.
It was fun to watch.
Her lines are really pretty, too, because they're a different kind of line. Because normally when you think vaulter, you think, like, even body type-wise, very, very powerful, lots of not, I can't think of a good word to describe this correctly, but lots of muscle. We'll just go with that.
No, you're right. I mean, she's so lean and long, and it doesn't portray power production.
But yet she's got some.
You're right. It's deceiving. She has hops, but you look at her and you go, you shouldn't have hops. And then all of a sudden she's that high in the air and you're like, oh, wow.
It's almost like a Michaela Maroney kind of thing. You look at her and you're like, she's tiny. And then you watch her do this crazy
thing.
Like,
Exactly.
Okay, well then let's move on to bars, which bars was...
Do we care about the exhibitions?
Do we care about the exhibitions?
Jesse, do you care about your exhibition?
We care about the exhibitions. The reason I always forget about the exhibitions is because they're not on my main sheet. But let's talk about it.
And I'll forget about them too. But just because, as I alluded to earlier, Danielle and Jesse were both out there trying to see, and I picked Danielle. But because Jessie was also safe and ready, we allowed her to go. And she actually stuck her vault for 9.65.
Okay, I'm glad you know the score because it's not in here.
Yeah, she definitely had a body position on the landing. But that's her first collegiate vault, too. So we're developing for the future without a doubt. You know, of course, I'm stressed about the present, but, you know, so it was a good first vault for her. And it was overall a very strong first event for us.
Oh, I think so. So now moving into bars. Bars was interesting. And I'm going to say something that Bill will not say, and rightfully so. But I think that this is a great example of an event that the scores don't tell the story. Because a lot of the bar routines were very, very good, and the bar score is very far from what we're used to seeing from the Arizona bar team. It's not to say that mistakes weren't made and nickel and diming type deductions weren't taken, but I just want to preface it before we go into scores that routines were still pretty darn good.
Right. I'll take that for sure. I was happy with the bar team. They did what I asked them. You know, we don't have control over the scoring. Mm-hmm. So we did what we could. We went up there and we had 6 no-fall routines. And I will take those exact same performances. I've had those exact same performances earlier in the year, and I'll take them again this weekend. I mean, we can only do what we can do. And, you know, scoring aside, I was pleased, and that's what I told the team, too, when we were done, that, you know, forget what else you're seeing or whatever. Be proud of yourselves. You know, we had just hit vault, we had just hit bars, and we were moving on, and we were going to try to make the best of this meet.
So do you feel like running through these scores, or do you want to just go straight to beam?
Well, we can go through the routines. Like I say, the scores won't tell the story. Mm-hmm. You know, Allie was able to, you know, Allie sustained an injury mm-hmm. in the previous meet in Chicago, and this would be the only event. So she was going from all around to just doing bars, and she was still in a lot of pain, and she sucked it up to hit to start us off with a hit set. Lexi came back with a pretty nice set, a wide disparity in each of the official scores. I don't know. And then Jordan came back and hit a really nice set, except probably took 2.5 tenths just in the dismount.
She did. She took 3 little steps, and it was just like, oh, that was such a pretty routine. But such is life with gymnastics.
Yeah, exactly. So. And Molly was almost the same thing. Molly was really going for a stick on her dismount. And, you know, they both had that forward blind landing, and they both sort of screwed it up and took steps and whatever. So there you go. Aubrey came back. Once again, really big disparity in the judges. But, you know, that was a good set. And then Danielle missed a lot of little, you know, I don't know. If you look at the whole 10-degree rule, you know what I mean? I've looked at the video like 14 times now. And I'm looking at it going, you know, and of course I did routine summaries and inquiries on all 6 of these routines. That's how confused I was. And so we'll just take it. Like I said, I will take our exact same performances this weekend because I'm confident in what we did. And we'll just take it at that. Okay.
So do you care about the exhibitions on bars?
Well, except she won't because she had a really not a good time.
Yeah.
Shauna went exhibition and she was a little bit all over the place. I mean, she's still such a baby in this whole growing into a bar competitor. So I'm fine. She drug her feet. She had too much speed on an overshoot, drug her feet on a glide kip. You know, she was just hanging on for the roller coaster. But I'll give her, you know, but she's working hard. She wants to be something on bars. So it's just part of that process. So I'm not even sure what she scored, but
I don't either, but I don't think she wants anybody to know either. So
there you go.
With that, we'll be proud that she did it and excited that bars is gaining more depth.
Yeah.
And we will move on to beam. And
well, we didn't have Jordan still. I mean, Jordan was able to come back on bars
and
floor, but she couldn't do beam still. And so I had to put somebody in the first spot. So I went with experience, you know, and Amber, you know, a year ago, it almost seems funny that you would be talking about Amber being in this pressure situation because we were just trying to nurse her along, but she's changed so much and matured and developed so much that it's like, okay, well, Jordan, who usually handles those opening chores, which is, let's face it, a very hard thing to do, to be the first one in a beam lineup. That's an important spot. And Amber handled it well and ended up with our highest score even. That's how good that routine was.
She did. And I have to comment too, and this is kind of speaking again towards the whole scores don't tell the story situation.
Right.
To get what she did on beam was just absolutely incredible. It was an incredible routine. The judging was really, really tight on beam. And I want to make sure everybody knows that because it really was a beautiful routine.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, no, she did a great job. You know, and what can you ask? And then, of course, then Jessie came back and had a fall.
She did, which you can't be, I mean, that's her second time in the beam
right.
lineup.
No, you're right. And, you know, we actually went into this beam lineup, when you think about it, a sophomore, 3 freshmen, and then our 2 seniors. So this was a very young, overall, inexperienced beam team.
That's very true.
And so you're right. But that was the first gut check moment for the team because, okay, now the next 4 got a hit. And this was the next one up. That was her first time in the lineup.
That's true. And
so that was my little nervous moment for the meet.
She rose to the occasion just like Jessie did last meet after a fall and came out with a 9.725.
Right. So. Right. No, Lexi did a great job. She's another one that's been sort of, at the beginning of the season, was sort of stuck on bars. You're injured. We need a bar routine. Don't get hurt anywhere else. But now we're starting to, maybe it's just me letting them branch out or whatever. But we really needed her, you know, because obviously both Allie and Jordan. Too, you know, were. So, but to be able to come back, and she did a great job. I mean, I know she was nervous because beam hasn't come along as fast this year as she had hoped. I mean, we're talking a former JO national champ on beam. Yet the fall wasn't kind to her on beam. So, I mean, the fall semester.
Right.
So she had a little bit of nerves, but she really rose to the occasion, and that certainly was huge for our team.
And then Shelby, in her second arm routine of the season, came back and also stayed on the beam.
Well, and just showed you the high gymnastics IQ of Shelby Edwards. Yes. Holy crud.
So, okay. This I was actually kind of excited to talk about because Shelby does a forward series, and if you mess up your first skill and don't get that connection, you've lost your entire series. So Shelby fought for it for a second on her front aerial, but then realized the wobble was too much, and I'm sitting there going, she's a freshman. If she doesn't do a series, this is going to be a really bad choice. And I was telling this.
Considering we already had a fall.
Exactly, and I'm telling this to the girl sitting next to me. And then she comes out and does her kick front, which is normally her singular skill. She goes kick front, back handspring, perfectly connected. Probably has never done that before in her life.
Right.
And saves her routine. And you can tell too, based on how she was setting up before she finished the front aerial, you could tell that was supposed to be her series, but she saved it. So I think that that's amazing. And considering that even though it's not supposed to happen, judges sometimes get this predisposition in their head about what they're supposed to be seeing and then maybe deduct more or less based on that.
Right.
She did pretty darn well.
No, she really, because you're right, she tried to fight the original series for second, and then she knew it's too much damage. She was in damage control, so let me pull that back, not wobble anymore. But then, I started to laugh because I knew as soon as she pulled it back, you pull it back, you have a plan in your head. Okay, I'm going to just go on and I'll do something else. And it was just, we were all waiting for it to happen. And she pulled it off flawlessly. And that 9.725, there was a lot of little things in it or whatever, but that was a huge cheering moment for the team because that was an incredibly mature gymnastics decision. And even though she's a freshman, we all know what a great athlete she is and a great gymnast she is. She's obviously gone through these things before, but she rose to the occasion right there.
The other thing, too, that I want to comment on is that there is also a composition deduction. So for someone who does a forward series, generally speaking, they do a forward series because they have not practiced a flick lay or a flick tuck or flick flick even.
Right.
So the fact that she has so many skills in her bag of tricks to come out and not do another front aerial in her routine.
Good point.
And potentially even mess with that composition deduction is even more impressive.
Right, yeah, because if she'd had some other skill or whatever, you're right, she wouldn't have been able to. Yeah, no, it was fun to watch. It was fun for the team, it was, because once again, the scores were what they were, so it's not like we were looking, oh my gosh, we're going to go 197. That had already been determined for us.
Yes.
So we were now looking just to see, okay, this is a training exercise for the team, and plus the fact that, our opposing team, the judging was very consistent between the two teams. So we were still, it wasn't, a lot of times in gymnastics, it gets down to, oh, what are you scoring? What are you scoring? This actually became a true competition because the scoring wasn't there for either team.
Right.
But so it was equally matched. And so now we're like, okay, we're still in this thing. You know what I mean?
And heading to, were there any exhibitions on beam?
Not from us.
Okay.
For the first time ever.
I didn't want to forget,
yeah,
just
exactly.
in case.
Well, and that's true. You're right. I was thinking, but that won't be the way this weekend. This weekend, we're probably not going to have any exhibitions, but we'll see.
Well,
we'll get into that.
Okay. So then moving to floor, and you're still in this, and you have your most consistently successful event on deck. How are you feeling?
Did we didn't talk about Aubrey and Molly?
Oh, yeah, we did. No, we didn't. You're right. I'm sorry, Aubrey and Molly.
They're both seniors. They've been doing beam since their freshman year. They both hit.
Well,
I can just see Molly's mom looking at the screen right now going, really?
Yeah, I can too. Shout out to Molly's parents and Molly's great beam routine.
They did a good job.
They did do a really good job, and the routines were consistent.
Yeah.
And again, the scoring was consistently what it was across the board, and we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, and but once again, I really appreciate those last 4 girls not allowing a fall to be counted. You know, they fought. I mean, regardless, they fought. So I'll give them credit.
Okay, so now how are you feeling going into floor?
Good, actually. I mean, I felt like, you know, we had gone at that point in the competitive routines, we had gone 17 for 18. And, you know, we were, you know, Jordan was back in floor. You know, Jesse had come off a great meet in Chicago. I mean, we felt, you know, floor was actually the most consistent of the lineups going in. It was like, okay, if we do floor well, you know, I always think of floor as an homage or a thank you to our fans. They love our floor team. Our floor team is great, and the team loves performing for their home fans. So at this point in the meet, you know, yeah, we can we can do well in the meet or whatever, but I really, at a home meet, I want those girls to perform for those fans that came out, and they did that. It was a great floor performance for us, and I was incredibly happy for the team. And
I have to say, too, if you look across the scoring differences, floor, there were a lot of disparities between the judges, too, and the team still ended up with an excellent total.
Yeah, no, and it's, you know, and it works itself out in the end, but it's basically all you can do. You do what you can do, right? Like I said, we have no control over the scores.
Right.
So,
I just want to make sure everyone is clear on that by the time this coach's show is over.
Oh, well, yeah. Like I said, I'm happy with our performances. That's all I can be. And we did come out with decent scores on our floor rotation. Floor routines were exceptional. Shauna started us off just like she did on vault with a great opening set, and the rest of the team took it from there.
Yeah, and Jordan came back into the lineup with a 9.825, which is exciting.
Yeah, no, you're right. And, you know, so she looked good. Molly had problems on her first pass, which lowered her score. And then Jessie just had a phenomenal, just an absolutely jaw-dropping routine.
Yeah, I don't even know where they found any of the deductions that they found. And once again, as I say every week, I'm not a judge.
Yeah.
So it was obviously there somewhere, but her routine was just beautiful. She's so clean. She's so tight. Her leaps are great. Her dance is intriguing. It's a good routine.
Right. No, it's an amazing routine. It's different. I mean, her twisting technique is absolutely spot on. You could teach a clinic on how she twists. And when she does stuff, it's so pretty. It's so nice. It's how you wish everybody would twist. And, you know, then she nailed all that tumbling. And it's got a different look. All of our routines really are sort of different. And hers has a totally unique look. And then, and like you were commenting on the performance part last week about how her dance parts and stuff. It was just a great set, you know. And then Kristen came up with, you know, our next 2 routines were just absolutely phenomenal, except each girl gave away something on their second pass. And yesterday, Aubrey barely got through practice yesterday. She's like, I spent an hour and a half on floor tumbling. I was like, and she was just doing second passes over and over and over.
Hey, if it helps this week, that's exciting.
We actually may even change her second pass completely. Give her a little bit more variety. Everybody knows that she can tumble, so it's like, okay. But we got to do something, you know, because we're talking phenomenal routines. But, no, both Kristen and Aubrey. And then Amber finished out with 2/3 of a great routine.
Yes, okay, we could go for that. 2/3 is a very accurate description. She just was not finding the floor the way she wanted to, but she didn't sit down. I don't know how her legs are as strong as they are based on a couple of the things we saw, but she stayed up on her feet.
Yeah, that last pass, she was a 1.5 to a punch front, and literally it was a standing front at the end of that routine.
Oh, it was, and I'm more impressed with how she stayed on her feet.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's actually pretty hard. What she did is actually pretty hard.
Oh, she definitely didn't do the tumbling the easy way. She did it the hard way and did just fine.
So that wasn't a great routine for her. But overall, incredibly, you know, like I said, this is, you know, this will be in our RQS. Hopefully a score will drop eventually. But my satisfaction was with the team. We went 23 for 24. They competed their hearts out once again. A very hodgepodge lineup due to injury. You know, we'll even have more hodgepodge this weekend. You know, but I'll give the team has heart. I'm so proud of the team for just the heart and they won't give up and they keep trying.
So let's go into this hodgepodge. Okay. What do you mean by that for this week?
Well, Molly Quirk just underwent a surgical procedure and hopefully will return. But, you know, everybody knows that I'm very analytical and scientific, and I don't get credit for having emotion or whatever half the time. But the reality of the situation, you under surgery, you may not come back. So I would expect that she probably will not do anything for us this weekend, and we're hoping she will come back. But there's no guarantees with surgical procedures.
Right.
She's in the gym. She was in the gym yesterday, had surgery on Monday, was in the gym yesterday, could do nothing more but get treatment and do some beam dance. And we'll see when she comes back. Obviously, she's been such a great competitor for us for 4 years.
Well, and
that's a hit, but we have to plan for that.
This leaves holes in
everywhere. Everywhere.
That's a big thing to be missing.
Yeah, we don't, you know, so all of a sudden now bars is really, you know, we're going to be pulling a Chicago hat out, you know, cat out of the hat or rabbit out of the hat, whatever you call it. And then obviously on beam and floor where she's capable of scoring 9.9s, that's huge.
Yeah.
So we'll see, you know, and obviously, you know, we've still got girls coming back from injury, Allie and Jordan, and we'll see what their availability is. Allie has not been doing very much more in the gym. Jordan's been trying to do a little bit more. But yeah, this one's going to be interesting, you know, and Oregon State runs a great meet. They'll have a lot of fans there. They treat us well or whatever. You'd like to go up there with, you know, all of your ammunition that you have. But right now we're short of ammo.
Well, I guess then that will make for an interesting coaches show next week.
It will be. It will be fun. You know, we're going in, and like I said before, the team will give 100%. You know, no, folks, not on this coaches show will you ever hear the term 110%. Because of no. 100% is what they'll give.
I have no words for you right now, Bill.
Well, that's just one of my little pet peeves in this world when people start spouting things that don't exist.
I think 110% exists.
It does?
Yeah.
No, that just means you've been slacking. So that means before you've only been given 90%.
No. It just means you're going past your capabilities.
Okay, John Wooden, who is actually a pretty renowned in the coaching world, even made the statement, there's no such thing as getting too high for a team or too low, because that means at some point you're not giving your all. So if you would give 110%, that means you weren't giving your all some other time when you were supposed to be.
I just wanted to see where you were going to go with this.
Slacker.
So we're not giving 110%,
no.
But they will give 100%.
Because we pride ourselves on being educated.
I don't know if he's including me in this or if he's trying to impart this education on me.
No, actually, for those of you who don't know, very intelligent young woman, very intelligent. If she keeps up with me and deals with all of my idiosyncrasies, I only deal with people well that, you know, and very smarter than I am, I'm sure.
Not even. But thank you for that, Bill.
Oh.
So then,
not even
taking the focus back off of me and back to the meeting.
Off of 110%, really. How did we go down that road? That was my fault, wasn't it?
Yeah, you brought that one up.
That was my fault.
But then I went with it because I had to show everybody.
Because you just had to bait me.
I did. It makes for good. It makes for good television. Anyways, do you have anything else you want to share with everybody about this meet this weekend?
Not this weekend. I'll give you a heads up. We both will. You know, in a week is our big the dual meet with our in-state rival ASU. So we're giving you plenty of notice.
Please come out because it's going to be a live meet too, and so this is our opportunity to show how great Arizona is and how great the meet atmosphere is and how great the support is on the Pac-12 network for all to see live. So it would be super, super awesome for everybody to start marking their calendars now and head to the meet.
Yeah, it would be.
And live stats and live video feed will be available for the Oregon State meet as well. I don't know so much about the Twitter updates, but the video will be there. Speaking of Twitter,
for all of you who follow our Twitter, that's her. That's not me. That's her.
This is true. He should not get in trouble for anything that has been tweeted during the meets, because that is me. And I've been a little feisty lately. I will admit that.
There you go.
And we'll just end with that statement.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you so much for watching. Go out and give 100% in your daily life.
Give 100% in your daily life.
Not 110%.
Yeah, don't be a slacker.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.